On today's Public Eye News, preparations are ramping up for Saturday's WCHA championship game against NMU and Michigan Tech, and the White House continues staff shakeups.
Elijah Clarzy will have a look at our forecast, and Caleb Rydell has the latest on Jordy Nelson's departure from Green Bay. Hi, I'm Anthony Celia.
And I'm Brandon McLean, and this is Public Eye News. Escanaba Public Safety responded to Escanaba High School on Wednesday afternoon for the report of a student threatening a school shooting. The complaint was investigated and it was determined that the threats were made and credible. The student was taken into custody and was evaluated by mental health professionals. The student is now lodged at Bay Pine Center, according to Escanaba Public Safety. There have been 3 different threats at 3 different UP schools this week. After a 6-month-long drug investigation, a woman has pleaded guilty in Schoolcraft County Circuit Court. 30-year-old Katie McGinnis was charged with 2 counts of the delivery and manufacture of a controlled substance, and also charged as a habitual offender, second offense. 3 other people were arrested along with McGinnis as part of the drug bust. McGinnis is scheduled to be sentenced on April 5th.
And Portage Hospital in Hancock is taking a different approach to Patient Safety Awareness Week. This movement is serving as a reminder that patients always come first in the medical system. The staff at Portage Hospital are all wearing patient gowns to say that we are all patients and have all been receiving end of medical treatment as well. All staff from housekeeping to pharmacy are asked to remember that patient safety and zero harm are the #1 priorities, and that taking care of patients goes far beyond addressing immediate medical needs. And Dickinson County Healthcare System in Iron Mountain is celebrating their recognition from the Economic Alliance of Michigan. They earned an Excellence Award in Patient Safety for the 3rd year in a row. DCHS is among 8 hospitals in the state and the only one in the Upper Peninsula to win the award. This award recognizes hospitals for consistency in patient safety and quality of care. Hospitals receiving this award must report to the Leapfrog Group survey for 2 consecutive years in 2016 and 2017 and maintain all A's on hospital safety scores for 4 consecutive 6-month grading terms.
Michigan Tech invites fans to cheer on the Huskies this Saturday in the WCHA championship game against Northern Michigan University. Joel Isaacson, Associate Athletic Director of External Relations at MTU, said, quote, "We want our fans to be able to come and enjoy the atmosphere in the building and cheer on the Huskies together," end quote. The MTU party starts at 6 p.m. Saturday in McInnes Student Ice Arena. MU will also hold a watch party at 6 p.m. in the Great Lakes rooms of the University Center. The Marquette community is remembering Stephen Hawking after his passing in his England home at the age of 76. At Shiras Planetarium, they say the acclaimed physicist will continue to inspire those who will come after him. Ken Yeager, who is in the planetarium sales at Shiras Planetarium, said Hawking is now in that same category as Newton and Einstein, inspiring other younger scientists in their work. Hawking is best known for his theories on cosmology and physics and for his book, A Brief History of Time. And after the break, we'll have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Friday night at 9 on Public TV 13.
And welcome back. Fingers are being pointed at Russia for the poisoning of a former spy with a powerful nerve agent. This is being condemned as the first attack using the nerve agent in Europe since World War II. President Donald Trump, along with French President, British Prime Minister, and German Chancellor have all come together and stated that there's no plausible alternative explanation to Russian responsibility. Britain reached out to Russia with a legitimate request for an explanation, which Russia in turn ignored, causing more of a reason to place blame for them on the assassination. The nerve agent was developed in Russia, and this is the first time it has been used offensively since the turn of the Second World War, which is being called an attack on UK sovereignty and a breach of international law. And the revolving door at the White House may not be done revolving. After a week of shakeups that included the ousting of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, there were signs that more are on the way. Hannah Doba explains.
During a recent stretch that has already seen its fair share of comings and goings at the White House, the latest to step in, CNBC television contributor Larry Kudlow. He was named director of the National Economic Council, replacing Gary Cohn, who announced last week he was stepping down.
The president has given me a chance. I love it. I'm honored by it. I'm honored to serve my country. That's a great dream.
To date, more than 20 senior administration staffers have either been fired, resigned, or reassigned. This was the president Tuesday, shortly after pushing out Secretary of State Rex Tillerson.
I'm really at a point where we're getting very close to having the cabinet and other things that I want.
3 others who may be on the hot seat are Secretary of Veterans Affairs and Obama-era holdover David Shulkin. In February, the Inspector General determined Shulkin and his wife used taxpayer dollars on a lavish trip to Europe. He paid the money back after the findings were made public. Sources say President Trump and National Security Advisor Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster have been clashing over policy. His departure has been expected for weeks. And Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Ben Carson is facing some scrutiny for picking out a $31,000 dining room set for his office. The order was eventually canceled. Hannah Doba, CBS News.
Syria now marks its 7 years of war. President Bashar Assad has decimated the rebellion thanks to massive military aid from Russia and Iran, but foreign powers have carved out zones of influence across the country. Nearly 500,000 people have been killed in Syria since Arab Spring protests erupted in 2011. Today, hopes of democratic Syria seem distant as the rebellion has splintered and the violence has spawned extremism. Around 5 million Syrians have fled the country, with most of them struggling to get by in neighboring countries as donor fatigue worsens by the year. A Texas district attorney is investigating the death of a puppy on a United Airlines flight as a possible criminal offense. The owner says the flight attendant in Houston forced her to put him in the overhead bin. United is also apologizing after it mistakenly flew a German shepherd to Japan. The dog is en route home on a chartered flight and is expected to arrive tonight. Chris Van Cleve has more from O'Hare International Airport in Chicago.
I honestly don't know how it could happen. A Great Dane and a Shepherd, they're 2 completely different dogs, look nothing alike.
Kara Swindle says 10-year-old Ergo is expected home tonight, 2 days later than planned. He was put on a plane Monday in Portland, stopping overnight in a Denver kennel. But on Tuesday, instead of flying to Kansas City, he made a nearly 6,000-mile detour to Tokyo. When Ergo's owner came to pick him up, United Airlines gave her a Great Dane named Lincoln instead.
Instant tears. I just kept saying, this is not my dog. My son has been crying all day because he wants his dog.
United Airlines says we apologize for this mistake. An error occurred during connections in Denver for 2 pets sent to the wrong destinations.
Your pet is treated as cargo.
CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg says passengers should be aware of airline policies when traveling with pets.
If the airline either misplaces your dog or cat, or injures it, or kills it, your compensation is roughly the equivalent of a lost bag.
There's no way to replace him.
Sofia Sabalos and her mother Catalina Robledo are still mourning the death of their 10-month-old French bulldog Coquito, who died on a United flight Monday after a flight attendant told them to put his carrier in the overhead bin.
He was like a brother, he was like a son for my mom.
The airline is acknowledging now that it appears the family here did let the flight attendant know that there was a dog in the bag. The airline says it appears their flight attendant did not hear or did not understand that that's what they were saying. The airline insists she did not intentionally have the dog put in the overhead bin. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Chicago.
And don't touch that dial, because we'll be right back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
Today, Jimmy Buffett sells out stadiums and arenas across the country. But it wasn't always this way. It took hard work and a little bit of luck. For the story of how Jimmy Buffett got his start, watch Jimmy Buffett Buried Treasure, only on PBS.
Friday afternoon at 2 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. I'm Elijah Clordy, and the time is approximately 10 after the hour as we look at our NMU Skycam. It's pretty snowy out there, a little bit cold, not exactly usual for this time of year, but we can hope for some better temperatures in April. All right, taking a look at our current conditions. It's cloudy with a temperature of 19 degrees, winds north-northwest at 21 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 30.01 inches and steady. Going into tonight, expect mostly cloudy skies with a low of 16 degrees, winds north-northwest at 18 miles an hour. And going into tomorrow, expecting sunny skies with a high of 35 degrees and winds north at 6 miles an hour. And across the UP, lots of clouds, sunny in a couple spots, but it's 20 degrees over in Sault Ste. Marie. Manistee is 22 degrees, 23 degrees in Escanaba, and Menominee it is 29 degrees. In the western half of the UP, it is 25 degrees. In Iron Mountain, Ironwood is 25 degrees. Up in Houghton, it is 21 degrees and 19 degrees in our hometown of Marquette, Michigan. Taking a look ahead. Saturday, expect a high of 37 degrees, a low of 27 degrees, and mostly sunny. Sunday, a high of 32 degrees, a low of 17 degrees, and mostly cloudy. And Monday, a high of 25 degrees, a low of 14 degrees, and mostly cloudy. Well, we're getting a little bit cold here, and I heard you got some bad news.
Well, it's not the greatest news in sports today. Elijah, thank you. An attempted cocaine extortion plot has caused ESPN president John Skipper to resign from his role at the sports network. 62-year-old Skipper has been working for ESPN for 27 years now and has come out saying that he has been using cocaine for several years and had always been careful about who he was buying it from. But he had a new source of the drugs as of December 2017. Skipper's family was threatened by the source, and the president decided to release the information on his own and resign on his own accord to get ahead of the situation. The Packers have released wide receiver Jordy Nelson after 10 seasons of playing for them, although it does not appear that Nelson will be out of work for long, as the Oakland Raiders are currently trying to finalize a deal with the 32-year-old Nelson. Nelson, who is currently in Oakland, still has visits scheduled in Seattle and New Orleans, even though the Oakland seems like a sure thing for Nelson. Nelson was asked to take a pay cut from $9.25 million to $1.1 million, and Nelson declined. That is what has led to the Packers dropping Nelson and Oakland looking to pick him up. 3 Baylor University football players are suspended amid off-campus rape allegations in November after their loss at Texas Tech. The victims were members of Baylor's equestrian team and said that the events happened at the University Park Apartments on November 12th. Baylor University went through a similar situation 2 years ago in which there were more than 20 lawsuits against the school. One of the cases alleging 52 rapes by football players over a 4-year period. The scandal eventually led to the firing of then coach Art Briles and the resignation of Baylor's president Ken Starr, as well as the school announcing last year that it implemented 105 recommendations for the improvement for the Philadelphia law firm. Well, no gold for Baylor, but I hear you got a story on a little bit of gold coming out of somewhere.
Yeah, we got gold and a lot of it. And if you're looking for gold, scrap all your plans to go out west and turn to the east instead. A hatch on a cargo plane in Russia flew open on the runway where 3.5 tons of gold scattered out and runs around the way. 172 bars of the scene were measuring 3.4 tons in weight, and they say that there could be more. And I don't know about you, but all of our brackets for the NCAA championship for March Madness, I can't believe it. I'm already out. Yeah. I don't know about you, but mine are shattered. Mine are gone.
As Oklahoma fell, so did my bracket.
Yeah, and that is all the time we have for you today. Come back tomorrow. We'll give you more use per use, and hope to see you soon.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.